One topic that's come up is what to do about the Iranian nuclear proliferation problem or crisis. And we all know that they're on the verge of getting a bomb, and it was recently announced they have enough fissionable material. If they were to accelerate their processing of fissionable material, they could probably get a bomb within a month.
On Iran, the president said he's also considering secondary tariffs if Iran doesn't agree to a nuclear deal.
Iran is very high on my list of things to watch. And as you probably know, I sent them a letter just recently. And I said, you're going to have to make a decision one way or the other.
So what do we do about it? Everybody, it reminds me so much of the Aesop's fable about belling the cat.
Quote, if they don't make a deal, there will be bombing. And it will be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before.
Iran's nuclear ambitions are a geopolitical powder keg. Everyone sees the danger, but who's brave enough to light the fuse? Victor Davis Hanson channels the old belling the cat tale. We all want the beast tamed, but who's risking their neck?
The mice got together and they say the cat is picking us off one by one. We need to put a bell around his neck so we could be warned. And everybody said that's a great idea. The next item of business among the mice assembly was who will bell the cat.
Trump showed guts with Soleimani's demise.
Last night, at my direction, the United States military successfully executed a flawless precision strike that killed the #1 Qasem Soleimani. We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war.
Yet his America First vibe clashes with the muscle needed to deter Tehran. Strength or restraint? Which wins?
And we're going to either have to talk and talk it out, or very bad things are going to happen to Iran. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. My big preference, and I don't say this through strength or weakness, my big preference is we work it out with Iran. But if we don't work it out, bad things are going to happen to Iran.
Donald Trump comes in. He deposed of the 5 years ago, Mr. Soleimani. He's not afraid to do it. But on the one hand, there's the MAGA agenda of America first and keep out of the Middle East, and at least out of optional military engagements. And then you have to juxtapose that against the deterrent policy of Donald Trump, who took out Baghdadi, and it's no better friend, no worse enemy.
Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
And maybe to restore deterrence, he needs to send a lesson. What I'm getting at is the Europeans. I think even the Chinese and Russians don't want on their border a nuclear Iran. The Americans, the Israelis, everybody knows they should not, that theocratic regime should not get the bomb. But who bells the cat? And that's the question. Iran right now is in economic chaos. It doesn't have enough power. That seems impossible. I think it's the 5th largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world, but it does not have enough fossil fuels to run its generation plants. And people are experiencing massive blackouts.
Hanson flags Iran's shaky regime. Why not let it crumble from within? But if they're inches from a bomb, can we afford to sit tight? Israel's got a rare shot. Enemies weak, Iran exposed, and global goodwill post-missile blitz. Still, is this a golden moment or a mirage? One wrong move could spark a regional inferno.
So then the question is, well, if you bomb Iran when the people are getting very angry at the regime, maybe it would be unnecessary because the Iranian people, like they did in 2009, might rise up. But unlike Barack Obama, who ignored that green revolution, Donald Trump and the Israelis would encourage it. And so maybe the correct stance of the incoming Trump administration is to go back to the maximum pressure campaign of Mike Pompeo and Donald Trump and have strict sanctions on oil exports, maybe even a blockade, put the pressure on so the people then throw the theocracy out itself. But on the other hand, people are going to argue, well, wait a minute, there are no Iranian air defenses. For one of the few times in history, that regime is naked. So maybe you could attack Iran just this brief window because Israel, in a series of brilliant air responses, has destroyed Tehran's ability to defend itself. So the regime is naked, and either the United States or Israel could take that out. So that's another argument. In the case of Israel, the question is, will you ever have this opportunity again to retaliate to the 500 drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles that were launched that attacked the Jewish homeland?
The major escalation in the Middle East. U.S. officials confirming that Iran has launched drones and missiles toward Israel, following through on its vow to retaliate for the deadly bombing of its consulate in Syria.
And is that window also, that window of memory, is that also evaporating? So people were forgetting what Iran did, that it sent that many projectiles against Israel.
Targets are 3 military bases, especially one housing F-35 fighter jets.
So would Israel be able then, A, to get through the defenses, have a week of bombing that would be necessary to eliminate the threat, and have the Trump administration approve it? And then finally we get to the other known unknown. What is the actual status of the bomb?
The known unknowns surrounding Iran's nuclear status highlight the dangers of miscalculation. Hanson suggests that Iran wouldn't downplay its nuclear capabilities if it already had a bomb, but history has proven regimes don't always behave rationally.
Logic dictates that Iran wouldn't lie and say we don't yet have the bomb when they did, because it would have no deterrent effect. Most people say we do have it when they don't have it, a la Saddam Hussein, things like that. But Israel can't be sure, and you have to be 99.99 sure, or you're talking about an existential fate. Bottom line, add up all of these known unknowns, and I think that the wisest course is for the Trump administration to say to Israel, we will keep China out, we will keep Russia out, it's your decision, but unlike the Biden administration, we put no limitations on your response, and we will give you the necessary wherewithal as far as munitions and intelligence to carry that mission out, if you so choose. We are working on a parallel path of embargoes, maximum pressure on Iran, but we can't guarantee that it will be successful in time. You make the decision, and whatever decision you make, we, the United States, will support it.
Could a preemptive strike be based on faulty intelligence? Could the world be walking into another Iraq-style misjudgment? In the end, the proposed policy, giving Israel the green light while pursuing economic pressure, seems pragmatic. But the real question remains, will time favor diplomacy, or will hesitation lead to an irreversible shift in power?